Welcome everyone here to the TA podcast. I'm Flay here, joined by the main Team Ambition roster. We're going to go inside and look at our previous as well as our future preview rounds qualifiers, look at the team who is, what their expectations are, and kind of get yourself inside the background scenes on this TA roster. Now I'm Flay, I'm a team manager here for one of the higher ELO Team Ambition teams, and I am joined by the rest of the main roster as I said. And basically, DK, Antivision, Nemesis, DK, Chokies, and Louis. I'm going to ask you guys to give yourself an introduction about yourself, who you are, what role you play, as well as your goals for this upcoming qualifiers.
Hey, my name is Noah. I go by Decoy Online. I'm the top laner for Team Ambition, and my goal is to win OQ2.
Alright, so my name is Anticipation. I'm TS Jungle, and I play many champs like Pawn, Zed, and you'll see me on these big playmakers, which can always pop off. So yeah, I hope to bring a lot to the table and be able to carry TA to the victory, and win OQ2, of course.
So my name is Hewitt, or Hewitt if you can pronounce it, otherwise known as DK. I'm the ADC for Team Ambition, so I pretty much just auto-attack stuff and stay alive. My goals for the OQ are pretty much to obviously win it, but have the highest CSD, so Lane Kingdom, just because I think most of the ADCs in the tournament are bad, like 90% of it. 90% of them, I should say. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
My name is Nemesis90 in the game. I'm the team laner for Team Ambition, and my expectations for the team is to win the queues. And with DK, I think we're going to do it. I'm confident with this team, so TA win. Let's go. Poggers.
Hey guys, my name is Charles, otherwise known as Chookies. I'm the support for Team Ambition, and my goal is to let Anticipation carry me and make me look as good as I can. And yeah, I think we should have a really good showing.
Hi everyone, my name is Luis. I go by Ray. I am the head coach of Team Ambition. My day-to-day is to basically babysit these guys and hold them accountable to their goals. They're all pretty good individually, so all I really need to do is make sure that they hold themselves to a higher standard and perform well. So, yeah.
Obviously, all these Team Ambition players, with the exception of DK, were in our past qualifiers, as was Coach Louis, and they kind of exceeded expectations here. The 17th seed coming in, they were actually able to make it 2 main qualifiers with a 3-2 record from Open, and then eventually did unfortunately get knocked out in the preliminary stages. However, it was still a surprise. For you, Nemesis, you guys were seeded 17th place in the Open qualifiers, putting you guys as basically slight underdogs, but you still came out as one of the bottom 16 teams in the main qualifiers. How was that experience like for you, and what does it feel like being one of those bottom 16 teams who actually made it past the main qualifiers?
Well, I was expecting us to get in groups for sure. I wasn't really worried, and I think that we should have went a little bit farther, but we didn't. So we had to work a lot for this one. But I think that with the progress we have, we're going to do it. So I think this time will be better. So everyone should expect us to do really well this time.
100%. I think you guys did prove it last time. I mean, the fact that you guys were one of the only teams to take a game off 100 Thieves next, who did end up winning the qualifiers last time, kind of put you guys in a different level compared to the other amateur teams. Now, for you, Noah, knowing the fact that you were the only team to actually take a game off 100 Thieves next, and yes, you were disappointing in the fact that main qualifiers not to make all the way through, what does it kind of show about the level of your team, especially adding a talented player like DK now, and what this team can actually exceed in the second qualifying stages?
I mean, we were a really new team. A lot of us were playing together for the first time. We hadn't had that much practice going into OQs, so I think our performance was okay. I think for sure we would get into groups, but I think we had a pretty rough group. Otherwise, we even with our problems, we make top 8 at least. But in the end, we kind of fumbled and only got top 16, but I think it was a good showing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you were one of the few amateur teams, like I pointed, to actually even make it that far. So while it is a bit disappointing, and I think your group stage was pretty tough, you had teams like Radiance as well as 100 Thieves next in that main qualifiers. Kind of the fact that you guys perform at that level kind of shows the progress and overall goals that Team Ambition's inspired as they move on to the second qualifiers. Now, for you, Louis, you guys are adding a very talented AD carry in DK here. Into the second qualifiers, this could be a big difference maker for the team to try to get them past the preliminary group stages and maybe into the top 8. When you look at DK as a player, what do you think he adds to the team, and how do you think he can get you guys up to the next level?
First of all, I think DK as a player is a very calming voice. He has this self-belief in himself when it comes to laning phase and being able to pump out damage in the late game. And just having that confidence in the player and that communication on the team has kind of made them into a different beast when we're not taking every single fight. We're picking our fights more accordingly, and so we're not having we're still having crazy bloody fights, don't get me wrong, because the team is willing to take fights. But having DK has definitely made the team much more a cohesive unit in terms of being able to identify good fights versus bad fights. So that's what he's kind of brought to the table, on top of being just a really good ADC on his own.
Mm-hmm. And our new AD carry here, DK, we see him on the screen caught in the snowstorm, but with all these two team members and kind of who DK is, we thought it would be pretty important, the Team Ambition squad, to get a more of get to know of DK, who he is, what he's about, and what he kind of brings to the Team Ambition table. So, each of our players, you've actually prepped a question for DK to kind of get to know him and kind of basically express who this player is. Now, we're going to start in the same order as before, from top to support, with Noah all the way down to eventually Charles. Now, Noah, as you begin this question, kind of ask yourself, what has DK provided, what he kind of brings into the Team Ambition lineup, and how he can kind of more or less carry you guys on to the next stage.
Yeah, so I was curious what you saw on the roster that made you want to join TA initially.
Well, let's see. Because I kind of grieved because I got decent rank, or I thought I was good enough to, in my opinion, go academy or above. That was the only reason I was you know what, let's try going pro. So what made me pick you guys is I watched all the games that you guys played, more importantly, so I was trying to figure out why you guys lost. And I just saw it as, if I was in those games, playing inside those games, I probably could have carried you guys further on. And I looked at NEM's OV.GG, and I like the CS numbers. And you guys are also having success with comps that are really hard to pull off. Talon Zed as the mid-jungle duo with the Syndra support, in my opinion, especially the mid-jungle, it's harder to pull off. But if you can pull it off, in my opinion, you're just better than the other players. So having me, who's able to play a wider pool of champions, I feel opens you guys up to do more on the map. Just having, you always know that I'm going to be there on Jinx or Aphelios, doing good damage, holding it down. And I felt that kid pushed the team way further than it did. And the losses that I saw, I was super confident, actually, that if I was there, we would have won. So that's why I joined.
Cool.
Okay, so it's my turn. All right. So DK, buddy, who do you hate the most in the team? Sincerely.
Dude, what?
Is that actually a question? Who do I hate most?
Mm-hmm.
It better not be me.
Let's see. Damn, that's a hard question. But I have to choose someone, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Just think about all the times you're getting dove, and anticipation's going for that extra round
it's
before he comes
actually
down.
Wait.
It's actually
I give you
look.
red buff.
No. It's
You have
actually
a Derp, but we have a
because
Talon. Oh, no.
the first scrim we play, I'm in a losing bot lane, and I get Prowl for my jungle so he can invade, but he needs to do his camp before helping out my lane, and we just lose the whole
so
game.
important, man.
Just skip Gromp. Just skip Gromp.
He legit would not skip the camp. We got destroyed bot lane, and in the review, I didn't say anything for 15 minutes or at all, and I was just you know what? It'll get better. But yeah, Anti, you're gonna have to take it.
Yo,
you know?
I think you're capping, but it's fine. Oh, you.
Okay, it's my turn.
Humor.
Yeah. So, how are you enjoying the scene, and how do you feel that we're going to do in this first tournament that you're going to play with us?
You as a person, not necessarily as a team.
Wait, so like, how do I feel
Yeah.
that
What is
I'm
your
going to do?
expectation in these OQs?
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Oh, for us or like as a team? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
missed that.
Everyone's a team, and
Okay, for everyone as a
yeah,
team.
you can include yourself, of course.
I mean, honestly, for the upcoming qualifier, I'm expecting myself to play well, but not to the level that I think I can, just because I'm limiting how fast I can click and how fast I'm moving my mouse. And I'm also not playing any solo queue, and I feel like I get pretty a little bit rusty, we'll say, when I'm not grinding the game, and I kind of enjoy grinding the game, so not being able to do that is kind of disappointing. I think the team overall should be able to get through, pretty much carry me through OQs. I'm pretty confident that the team could probably 5-0. Like, if my wrist was not hurting, I'd be super confident in the 5-0. I'm expecting 4-1. 3-2 would be kind of disappointing, and 2-3 would tilt me. So it's either 4-1, and if we're really good, we go 5-0. It's one of the two, in my opinion. The team looks really good. Anti's 1v9 jungle. I've never seen him down on camps, even though he does great for the camps. He is always up levels and up gold, so that's good. So yeah. Cool.
Okay, I think it's me, right? Because he's not going to ask a question himself, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So everyone is screaming in my background, so if you hear some screams, it's just the Overwatch players. But as you may know, there's a lot of good bot laners in the qualifiers. So how do you think you and me will stack up against them?
Let's see. The inherent question, I don't think there's a lot of good bot laners in the OQ, so automatically I think we're way better. I think we're probably like, because honestly I don't really watch other people. I mean, there's no point watching people who I do watch other ADCs just to see how they click, and I'm always disappointed. So how do I think we'll stack up against them? We're probably like top 3. There's no other bot lane that I can think of or AD player that makes me go like, wow, this is a really good amateur ADC. So yeah, I think we're really up there, and we'll probably stomp bot lane pretty hard.
Agreed. Sounds good to me.
And yeah, a lot of confidence here from DK and Charles, and I think it kind of goes well into our next section here, our qualifiers for this round, specifically the second one. The Team Ambition squad, all of you guys expressed huge confidence, but unfortunately, based on the seeding, while you guys did actually beat a couple of teams ahead of you, and even actually took a game of 100 Thieves next, you're in the exact same position as you were before. You guys are still ranked as a 17th seed in the Proving Ground second qualifiers. Now, Vincent, what do you think that says about the committee's opinion of you guys? You bring in a stronger AD carry. You beat teams like UCI. You've actually outperformed other teams who are ahead of you, and yet you're still in the same spot. Do you think that's a bit disrespectful from the side of the committee?
So I had COVID and I bring the team down for the average rank. So it's my bad. I wasn't playing too many ranks because I had another person in my life and I was having a lot of time with this person. Not only this, but yeah, COVID. So I wasn't playing as well. Now I'm fine. I'm back in form and we're 17th. So just imagine how much we wreck like the teams we're gonna face next. It's gonna be really free and I think it's not that disrespectful because, as I said, I'm like pretty low rank right now. I'm fucking low, and Nemesis keeps telling me that as well. Thank you, buddy. But it's fine.
I got you.
Yeah.
They actually base most of the ranks off season 11 end ranks, so you can point your finger at DK.
Oh, it's me. Fuck.
Oh, DK. DK. It's not my fault anymore. DK.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be top 10, no? What happened?
Way true.
I agree. My bad, boys.
I believe it's
Yeah,
actually
personal
it's
reason.
season 11 and like performance and tourneys, if I recall exactly.
It's
I
season
think
11 performances and rank. So
and ranks,
DK,
yeah.
DK did play last season and he was Heartstuck D1 apparently. They didn't look at the
Unlucky.
fact he was challenger all season.
Unlucky. It'd
I
be
was
like
I
that.
was GM Heartstuck actually. To be fair,
Yikes.
I was a GM Heartstuck player, but then again, I didn't really play too much. Well, I did play a
Mhm.
lot, but I take breaks, come back, play
Yeah.
breaks. My bad though, boys. We're 17th because of me and Steve.
It's fine. We get through our
Eh.
Qs anyways.
And kind of speaking of 17th, it's kind of interesting you guys are back in that spot because the team you're actually going to face off, which is Nameless Randoms, excuse me, not only did they fail to make it to qualifiers last time, you actually beat them in open qualifiers. Now, Charles, kind of knowing the fact that you're facing a team you've already beaten, and you've, from what I've seen, I'm very confident you've improved in the bot lane position with DK. How do you think this first game is going to go against Nameless Randoms?
Should be an easy dub. I don't think the game will take very long. It's possible, we'll have like the first game jitters, maybe get a little inting out, but I don't think we drop the game unless like something has gone seriously wrong. But should be pretty free.
Louis, your players are expressing a lot of confidence here. Do you kind of share the same sentiment as they come into the second qualifiers?
Yeah, to be honest, when we were looking through the last open qualifiers, we actually were afraid of more teams than we actually ended up fearing going into the tournament and watching them. And looking at the open qualifiers this time, and then especially after scrimming like several teams, I think there's only like maybe 2 or 3 teams that we fear. Or not fear, but like respect enough to
Respect.
call them humans. Respect enough to call humans.
Ooh, okay. Would you like to name those 3 teams?
Yeah, so I have a lot of respect for Maryville and their program, specifically their first team. So Niles, Odd Orange, APA, Azog and Shady. I think 100 Thieves Next is obviously the team that's going to be on everyone's names. And honestly, the other teams are very meh. The third slot could go to Immortals AoE or no team. But the 2 teams that I respect is Maryville and 100 Thieves.
And for you, Noah, seeing the kind of level of confidence as well as your teammates, is there anyone else you think that Louis hasn't mentioned, or maybe your team hasn't mentioned, that you also kind of give that level of respect to, or really do you guys think you actually are going to play above your seeding and actually kind of prove the qualifiers themselves incorrect, ranking you guys this low?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been scrimming like teams, and a lot of like single-digit seeded teams we've been smacking in scrims, so I'm not that worried. I think anything lower than top 4 in this OQ is a disappointment.
Wow. And I think that actually gives us a good segue into our second position here in terms of predictions and goals for OQs, because a lot of confidence and kind of a lot of belief in this roster has been expressed off, but to kind of say that expectations of anything below top 4 is a disappointment kind of implies, from what I'm hearing, Noah, is that you expect this team to at least win 4 out of the 5. Is that correct?
For sure, yeah.
If that's the case, if you expect at least 4 out of 5 for you specifically, besides the teams that Louis mentioned, I believe was 100 Thieves Next, Maryville's programs, and he said any assortments of random 13, I think he listed Immortals AoE. Is there really anyone else you think could kind of concede with you guys in that kind of top 4 position?
No, I think he was pretty spot on. I think that the third spot, aside from like us, 100X and MU, could go to like a couple different teams. Like you said,
Mhm.
like AoE Immortals could be up there. We'll have to see.
I think also Bay State, I think, has actually been playing pretty good in the qualifiers. So I think we'll definitely have to look out for them as well.
And kind of go back to you, Louis. Do you think kind of your rankings before that more or less kind of symbolizes your kind of top 3, top 4 end? You got your basically your 100 Thieves Next, your defending champions, the ones everyone's looking out to. Then you got Maryville, something to kind of expect, as well as Immortals AoE. I know you didn't mention EG Prodigies, was another team that kind of ranked pretty well. Any thoughts on that team coming in the qualifiers?
I think in the nicest way possible, they are good kids. And we'll just leave them at that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this should be it, yeah, for EG Prodigies.
I think I liked Faisal last season,
Mhm.
but after watching him more this season, I think he is definitely leaving himself disappointed. And I think Daption has always been a good player, but I think our bot lane is better than that bot lane. And same with every other role.
I think the last team that was not mentioned here from kind of a presumed favorites, obviously we just touched on EGP, but Winthrop University, I believe, also made semifinals last time. Is there any thoughts of them, Louis? This is a team that you didn't really mention that actually did a lot higher than some of the other teams that you previously talked about.
I think it's a really big upgrade that they have Frost Forest back because it frees up their pick ban a little bit harder. I'll have to see how they perform before giving a judgment. But last time, I think they made top 4, right? It was them, 100 Thieves, EGP, and Golden Guardians that they made top 4. I thought that their group was insanely lucky. So I don't really have a good judgment on them because they had Uzi, Winthrop, and Dare.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Not much competition there.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And kind of speaking about in terms of competition, as well as more of us predicting these records, I'm going to ask all of you to kind of give me your thoughts in the open qualifiers, your predicted record, right? So obviously you need at least 3 wins to make it to main qualifiers. I'm assuming all of you guys are going to predict you're going to win at least 3 games. So after you give your open qualifiers, give me your expectations in the main qualifiers run. Where do you guys will finish off? And if it's not you guys, who do you guys think will be the main qualifiers? And we're going to start this off with Noah.
Yeah, like I said, 4-1 I think is pretty reasonable. Maybe 5-0 depending on the matchups, but 100 Thieves, like if we run into them, I think they could give us a run for our money. But it is best of 1, so like even 5-0 is reasonable. And then main event, like I said, I think anything other than top 4 is a disappointment. So at least semis, if not finals.
And if you guys were to lose in finals or lose a semis, I guess per se, do you think it would be 100 Thieves next would be a team to knock you guys out?
Probably, yeah.
Moving over to you, Vincent. What do you think about this next open qualifiers, and main qualifiers?
So for the qualifiers, I think we have good chances of getting 4-1. As Noah said, if we get really unlucky, if we get like fine matchups, we'll go 5-0 most likely. And then the main events, there are like 2 teams. So Immortal, AoE, and 100 Thieves. I think they are like the only ones that can really beat us. And if we get in their group again, I mean, because first time we were against 100 Thieves directly, I think we're pretty unlucky. But most of the time, since we'll be pretty well seated with like 4-1, I think we should be pretty good and good to go for a top 4, as Noah said again. Like, nothing else is like permissive. I think we get this, and that's like the final point. We get there.
Awesome. Nemesis, your teammates expressed a lot of confidence. Do you also kind of share the same track, 4-1, 5-0 into the semifinals run?
Yeah, I mean, if we all play to our picks, I'm sure that we can go 5-0. Even if we run into like a good team, like 100 Thieves, for example. I'm not really worried about the open qualifiers. I think we're going to make it to groups at least, but my expectations for this team is like top 4 for sure. There is no reason to go lower than that unless we like really into it. We can even go like win it all for sure.
Now, DK, your current teammates, and obviously you're new here to the Team Ambition family, but your current teammates expressed a lot of confidence. Obviously, you did elect to join this roster, and from what you expressed earlier, it seems like you have a lot of confidence. If you were the AD carry last split, we would have been talking about maybe a TA repeat rather than a TA semifinals run. Do you kind of share the same ambitions and expectations with the rest of your team members?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I said earlier, 4-1 is expected. 5-0 could pretty much happen very easily. 3-2 is a disappointment. 2-3 is unheard of. With when we actually get into the tournament, they're saying top four. Top four is semis, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. We just win what 2 best of 3s and we're there. So that's not bad or hard at all, I feel. I guess it could depend, like once again, who we play.
Right.
But like what was said earlier, if we have good seeding in the qualifiers or the open qualifier, it should be pretty easy. But yeah, I want to win everything though, so
Right. 100%.
semis is once again expected. Winning, it's likely in my opinion.
And Charles, your fellow AD carry, expressing a lot of confidence here. How excited are you to play with a talent like DK? And you guys think you will live up to the expectations you kind of presented yourselves?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be playing with DK. I think we can do better than we did last time. I think all of us have a lot of confidence, and rightfully so. For our prediction, at least, I'll probably go 4-1 as to be expected. But it is possible good teams will drop games. And I think if certain teams drop a game and we have to play against them, it's possible we could end up 3-2. I think it's also possible that good teams might lose games and it'll actually might help us get a 5-0. I do think with our seeding being 17th, a 4-1 or a 3-2 is probably more likely just because we'll always have to play the best team. Mm-hmm. And then when we get to the actual tournament, again, depending on how our groups are, I think if we were put in the exact same scenarios last time, we almost certainly would have made it to semis, possibly top 8, but I think top 4 was definitely possible. So I think, as long as we get the right matchups and don't get too unlucky, I think top 4, top 8, super possible. So.
I am planning on tweeting out the Michael Jordan meme of, and I took that personally. And I took that personally from our seeding. So after every win. So that's where I think.
So I think it's safe to say, Louis, that top 4 bust is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, top 4 bust.
All right. Well, any final thoughts from a Team Ambition member here? Wrap this up. As you guys can see, a lot of confidence from Team Ambition group. They surprised everyone for a deep run and taking games 100 Thieves next, and adding a talent like DK will certainly boost your chance for a top 4 run. Do any of the players or Louis have any thoughts as you wrap up this podcast?
We will win everything, pretty much. Very easily. Without any difficulty, don't worry. And we'll show really good picks. So, prepare yourself for some spicy ass shit. It's coming.
Well,
we're not cookie cutter, and we are unwilling to lie down even when we're behind. So expect fire out of the team, and expect to be entertained.
Well, as you come into our second qualifiers here, one thing's for sure, Team Ambition will definitely give it our all. Make sure to tune in on Unified starting tomorrow as well as on Tuesday. Team Ambition will be streaming the games live if it's not being streamed by Unified. And when Team Ambition makes it to main qualifiers, you will see him on both the Unified and Unified 2 channel. And hopefully these 5 players can prove everyone right and prove everyone wrong in their opponents and make a deep top 4 run. I'm Flay, joined by Team Ambition rosters. Thank you for joining me, and have a great night, everyone.
I go by DK online. I mean, Decoy. Yo!
Nice! Let's go!
I'm started at... Okay, Yeah.